All right, we're back again. We're going to continue the foam buildup. So now we can really start cutting some different shapes and trimming them ahead of time before we put them in. So I cut a little piece here for the chest. I did a little kind of arc in here underneath the neck. So making sure that again he can bend his neck forward and backward easier. We can also cut some pieces for the tail and yeah, we'll just continue building up. The hands and feet, I think I'm going to do them last. I know it might be better to do them first sometimes if we're doing like the liquid latex buildup, but we're not going to get to that yet with this guy. I think we're just gonna keep going with this. But I do have the foam wrap, and we do have the more rubbery one too to put on there. This might be good for his bill and for the tail since it has kind of a textured type of feel to it. So yeah, let me go ahead and just flatten down a little bit. I do have some eyeballs picked out as well. So beads make great eyeballs. Again, if you just can find a bead. All right, if you want them to move, there's a bead with a hole through, so you can actually move the eye inside. I just grabbed some glass dragon eyes. You can get these. Just look up dragon eyes, glass eyes on Amazon. There's tons of them to choose from. And you can also just get acrylic eyeballs, and then you can also get um, doll eyes, so the regular eyes. These would actually be pretty easy to put in there. I could just grab a doll eye, and it's even got the back already, so I could just kind of stab this in the foam. That and oh geez, that's so easy. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that. Oh my God, that was easy. Yeah, let's just do that. Kind of done already, right? Less thinking for me moment. So I don't know. I could come back to that. We're kind of you know, room to experiment. But yeah, I have a little tray. That's maybe 20, $30. I got tons of eyes, over 100 eyes to choose from. So it's nice to have an assortment when you're coming up with an idea, trying to finish your character up. Uh, Off camera problem there. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I think I'll just leave those on there. I do them last because I don't want to get adhesive on them. I don't want to get solvent or paint or anything like that. I accidentally lose them, they fall out or whatnot. So just be careful uh, when you're doing this. So yeah, maybe I'll come back to that. I was going to give them little toes too. So kind of coming upon that. So let's do the chest though. So I have this ready to go in here. So I get this piece of foam for the chest. It's going to fit right in there. So I'm going to continue building up just using the toothpick was fine. So this one's a little bigger. It's got the adhesive already on it. And on the thicker foam, with the thread plate texture, of course, it's a little easier earlier, but just got to remember it really absorbs into um, the lighter, more open cell upholstery foam. So I'm really kind of dabbing it in there. And I don't think this diamond plate's gonna give us any trouble. The texture, at least, since it's going to be hidden behind all the puffiness. And I do want to make sure that this stays on good here. There we go. Should be good. And then get the back of this. And if it's starting to stick too much, just get another toothpick. Yeah, it's getting dry around the lids. I've been leaving the lid off. That's what happens. So just a word to the wise. Maybe I should be dabbing that lid on to avoid that happening again. So let's make sure we go in here and get this little booger, crusty booger. We don't want that getting into our character. And come back over here. There we go. That's better. And in between positioning and applications, I'm going to make sure that I put the lid back on to avoid that happening again. And again, it pulled up and it kind of absorbed in. Be careful not getting off camera here. Yeah, I didn't quite do a good job getting it on there. So just a little more like that around the edges, like that. There we go. A little bit more on the bottom edge. And oh, it's got to fit on the bottom. Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be hard to hold it like that now. We should have done do that backside. So squeeze it off and drag it out to the edges. There we go. Dab down, and drag it out to the edges. Oh wow, I got a bunch out of my thumb just now. Guys. Okay, and yeah, it's that lid on there. There's our little stringy spider web adhesive, and throw it on high. Yeah, forgetting to do a surface happens a lot for me at least, so just see away. You don't want to squish it and it will fix itself. So try not to pinch it and re-crunch it, so to speak, an accident. This is the one I put on last, but I'm done first. With the other one I put on a thicker coat. And so really watch out for pooling because I really kind of threw it on the thread plate. Just it's still glistening. You can see the pool of it right there. So I'll just stop for a second and make sure that that's not too crazy of a little pot of it. And we can also, we have, there you go, ability to move them around. So you want to put them into some extreme poses as you're putting these on. If we're going to bring his arms up over his head, as an example. Same thing with the tail. We're going to bring the tail out straight, and then put the adhesive on, and then that way he can scrunch down. You don't want to have him scrunch down and then pull on the stuff. It'll just rip the adhesive off. So this is nice and dry, so I can touch it a little easier now. And we pull this down just a bit, get it into that corner first, press, and then let it rise up a little. Maybe bring his head back forward a bit more where the chest was, and let that fit here. There we go. Come into life, a little at a time. And yeah, we want to continue there. Let's see, I get those big old trimmers too. Where'd those big ones go? These monsters here. Cool. That looks good. Kind of get rid of, keep shaping as I go. Get rid of any uh, edges you don't like, sharp edges. It's gonna make it a female character at first, and I should have maybe stuck with that motif, but oh well. And I gave him the more feminine hips. There we go. Cool. Make sure that lid's on. Grab all my debris. Drop that in the garbage can. Come back and get my finer scissors here along the belly and neckline. And if I want to even that out before I put the tummy on him, I can come in here and do a little. They're gonna do this little action like this. Nip, nip, a little at a time. Works well. There's adhesive on the bottom. It's up to you. You're shaping your character, so you decide what you want that final form to look like. Right, so yeah, having the unexposed adhesive down there isn't too much of a problem. I do want to use it still, so I just got to be careful not to let it go. But I want to even them up a little more for sure in here. At least for what I think I was going for. I don't know. Takes on a life of its own. So let it live. Let it become, become whatever I'm gonna be. Or is it the bottom one that moves? Top one might be a little more funny. So see his eyes falling out already. So I just gotta be really careful I don't lose it while I'm working or drop it into, you know, a place you don't want it dropped into. Okay, yeah, I want to fill in these sides right here. So to go into the hips, I want to fill in the shoulder, give them a little bit more of a belly, and then we can work our way down to the legs. So let's go ahead and cut some more foam. I got my sheet here, and I'll just go ahead and cut this kind of like the size I gave out during class. There we go. Everyone got it. Again, this guy's a little oversized on purpose. I want to have something that would show up on camera and to deal with the kind of larger size that most of you were, or a lot of you had for your more plushy type. Um, so for this one, I could go like, I could wrap it. I could go here and wrap underneath the belly to the back like that. I think I'm going to do like a bigger piece like that to kind of accelerate this process a little bit. So I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. Coming on the side here, I want to maybe even that up. The neck. There we go. And the back of the neck and shoulder region. Okay. There we go. He has a lot of flexibility still. And you can see back here it didn't really stick at all. I didn't put any adhesive on the top of there to stick that together. So I think that worked out okay. I just got to be careful. He can't go back. He can go back a bit, but he can go forward a lot. So and the neck as well. So if I want him to be like that, I might put a piece in there like that and then crunch it down afterwards. So I might go like this. I like to put this piece down, and then I could run a piece all the way down to the tail as well. So let's see. I'm kind of going back and forth here with my thought process. And that's what you got to do. You got to figure out where you want to tackle putting these on. Where's it? Where's he going to? How's he going to animate? How's he going to move? How flexible? You got to keep him flexible, and you got to bring him back to neutral pose and make sure you're applying things evenly still. If you want them to be even, if you want them to be asymmetrical, now's the time to make that decision on asymmetry, which of course is can be a great um, design. Symmetry and asymmetry on your core, your elements and principles of design. But you just want to make sure you're doing it on purpose. Or if it's an accent, make sure it's a happy accent. All right, cool. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna add these wedges. I thought about putting a long piece here all the way up to the head, to the neck here, and down all the way down the tail. If I do that, I'm going to bring him forward a little first, like that, just a little bit. And then that way when he flexes, it's going to kind of bunch up a little. So it's going to pre-bend. When I do the shoulders, I'm going to bring his arms up over his head. So I'm actually going to go like this. Bring his arms up like that. And then apply the foam and then bring his arms down again so it creates like a nice fold and bunch underneath there. So those are a couple things to think about. If he's gonna, that way when he brings his arms forward, there we go. There's some space there. So lots to think about. Let's go ahead and cut the sides here though underneath. So I'm just gonna measure that up here. And you got a piece right there. So maybe that. And fill that in. And at an angle, you can see I cut it. I didn't cut it. One side is straight, the other one's very much not straight. So maybe from that. And you can always you can cut it diagonals. You can squeeze out a piece like that, scrunch and cut, and then create like a pit. There's a bunch of different little techniques to pick up along the way as we do this. That should be good. And this could even be good if it wraps around the back. Whoops, a little bit like that. But I think for now, I just want to get that piece in like that. There we go. So I'm going to cut this right in half, one for each side. There we go. And then I'm going to cut the diagonal. So I'm going to cut there, and then a little bevel there and there. And there we go. Should be good for his sides. And then I want to cut the same piece for the other side. Here. Oh, oh. Is that right? Yeah. And just make sure I'm looking at this, trying to make them as somewhat symmetrical. Going back and forth between my big long scissors and my shorter hand scissors, and continuing to get these corners off, so kind of tucking some of the foam in there. All right, so there we go. How's that fit? A little fitting. It's gonna work pretty good. Bring his shoulders out a little bit. I lift his hands up. He's already. I'm already having fun posing him, right? So maybe I cut a groove in the middle here, or put him in the front. I think I'm gonna cut that groove down the arm, so it's gonna go right to there. So that groove, and then come over the other side. Yep. So both of these, I'm gonna cut that groove so that the arm can come down. It's not gonna bunch up in there. Let me go like that. Or the shoulder, I should say. All right, so let's go ahead and apply our adhesive to this side here, this side here, this side, and this side. Make sure they are sided, so this is farther back. You see where I cut them. It's thick, it's wider here than it is here. So I got to make sure this stays on the proper sides as I'm going. So let's apply our rubber cement first. There we go. My little wider piece. The scissors out of the way. I'm back into gluing mode, so kind of clear off a little space first. See if I'm still getting a lot of use out of this little flat wider toothpicky thing, whatever this is that I found out in the garage. Okay. My lid handy in case I need to strap it on real quick. And dun, 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 dun. Go out to the edges. Cool. And then get that piece underneath here. Just kind of press on the tube while I'm working. And each step has its own art form, right? And techniques here. Picking it. Oh, shoot, I just stuck my thumb right in that one. Right. A little bigger glob that time. I don't know if that was smart or not. We'll see. Outside. There you go. Maybe a little bit more outer edge. I think it's going to be all right. Okay, set that over there and do the torso where we're going to actually attach it. So we got to make sure you know how high up it's going. It's going right to there. Don't want to waste too much on areas that it's not currently going into contact. Huh, that ripped right off. Yeah, it's strong stuff for sure. There we go. Okay, and do the other side. A little bit bigger glob as I get comfortable with it. And it's going to be okay down here, up to here. There we go. Sure, I'm on camera. Sorry if I go off camera. There's a little glob of it. Make sure the pools are gobbed away. Going to be all right. Yep. And is that one going to be okay? Yeah. Looks like I could put a little bit more up top. Maybe on both sides. Oops. Up in here. And the other side as well. He stands up really well. That tail helps a lot. Ah, speak of the devil. You get too cocky. All right. That should be good enough for now. So let's preserve what happened. Oh, the tail got pushed sideways. All right, air dryer. Brian fits. Pulled up a bit. And my toothpick and just kind of undo any thick pools. They really don't do, they make it worse. So you can put too much on if you leave it globbed. We want the two sides, it bonds the two sides to each other, right? We want the glue itself to be the primary thing in the middle. It's not like masonry cement, right? There we go. Okay. Be all right. These ones I did a while ago, so these are very dry. I didn't know if it at all in there, so I don't think. The hair dryer is not too annoying on camera. And you know that I did a good enough job on these pieces. Hard to see dirt stride. Guess we'll find out. So I'll start off the corner. So I kind of tilt it here on the side like that, and then kind of roll it into position and roll it up to the armpit and then press. Go. On the other side, same thing. Go to the corners, spread them apart, and go up the armpit and press. And there we go. He's got some sides. Still very, very flexible. So it's going to pull now. So it goes side to side. So that may or may not be what you want. So if it's doing that, I don't know, maybe cut it. Again, it's flexible, but it's not stretchy. So there we go. So now you see it stretches a little more. I want to really push him on the side. That's as far as he's going to go. And it kind of, yeah, I don't know. He's all right. Okay, let's wind like a little diaper piece underneath into his tail. So I'm going to bring his tail up a bit like that. So that way, when he's regular walking, it can come down. It's going to kind of compress a little bit. Same thing for here. It's going to be like that at the bottom, and then go down here, and it's going to compress. So we'll see how this strategy works out. I don't know. Surprise. So maybe a nice wide piece like that. Wait a minute. Do a little cleanup if you need to. All right, go underneath that. Let's see, there, all the way like that. Underneath me, I've got my marker. Like that, and cut it here. Come down, and I'm just gonna go underneath and there, and there. And the tail down is going to go underneath here. So from there to there, it's going to go straight. And then all the way, you need extra. All the way. So I get the depth of the pelvis here. I need to add that extra length here so it can wrap all the way around. And you can always add to it. So the end of the world if I don't get it just right the first time. And add to it. You could trim it. It's what makes this stuff really one of the things that makes it so fun to work with. So there's the tail. You can hear the phallic jokes already. Haha. So go underneath. Maybe to there. And go all the way. Now I might, it's going to be really thick, and I might end up cutting this in half and using it for the front side. See how it goes. Because it is an inch thick foam. You can get it in all different kinds of thicknesses, of course, depending on your use for it. And then we still got to add the skin, right? Oh man, not do it quite as evenly as I wanted to. But yeah, I might cut this in half the whole way. Um, let's see. Let's see if I get it here. And it's gonna go up underneath and ooh, just barely left enough. But if I cut this away halfway there, it's gonna carve underneath. Yeah, it means it's ambitious to do the whole thing like that. It's unnecessary. Ooh, hit the camera. And the tail needs to bend a lot, so let's not do as one piece. Let's leave it as two separate pieces. So there we go. I'm going to do that. And then that way I can still cut this underneath the thigh right here. Okay. There we go. And that way this can fold underneath and you can still have a bit of a belly. And remember, we're going to use the wrap. We're going to kind of bind them up when we're done. So just keep that in mind as we're wrapping this puppet up. That's okay for now. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot cutting this in half. Let's see how this. I've had a pretty good success so far getting it relatively uh, even. Surprisingly, I wasn't sure how it would work, and then famous last words. Cut from one side, then to the other side. Kind of flowers out as you go. Make sure this is even. Um, Might be easier, of course, to get thinner foam, have half-inch foam. Maybe these scissors will cut a little easier as I'm careful. And I could put the rough side down if I'm worried about having an even surface. There we go. Let's see. That's not bad. Now I can do his belly here and go up underneath like that. So I was shooting for. And then we also have another piece here for his backside, although I'm wanting to wrap around the hips a little bit more than I did so far. But yeah, it's working okay. Let's go ahead and do a pre-cut here. Front of the hips, right here, the tip and the thigh, I want that to bend. nicely. I can always blot in some more in there if we need to. And I can also, goes up underneath, we can get rid of any sharp bevels again as needed, sharp edges. Go. And if I do an angle and he's bending, this actually might allow that belly here to bend forward easier, having that be separate like that. I don't know. Let's see. I can see right here where it stops. And it's looking okay. Let's continue to shape, trim off those edges. There we go. And so yeah, like having his hands, like it looks like he's like, pick me up, pick me up. Ah, funny. All right, so yeah, so this should work okay here. I'm gonna wrap this around a little bit on the sides and underneath the crotch region, and then gonna take the tail here. I'm gonna cut this in half like I did the other one, layer that on. And then I have the back side here. I was gonna do something like this, where it goes over the top of the tail, then comes up underneath to provide somewhat of a butt. And I was gonna add another piece on the side here for the thighs. So let's go ahead and add that on. So this would be a nice big piece to add. Yeah, it's going all right. Yeah, then we get to skin it finally. Once we're done with this, although I know we got to do the hands and face still. But, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, so I don't mind the extra time some of this stuff takes. Yeah, maybe the smaller toothpick keeps it from gobbing as much. We'll see if this strategy works at all. I've definitely gotten it on my hands, so c'est la vie. And yeah, you don't want to stiffen up on the toothpick too much. You do want to get it on there kind of right away. And if that's not, if it's getting slower, it's sticking, then we'll. Right now I'm battling little fragments of fuzz. I didn't do my little foam cleanup before I started this part, so. There we go. Oh man, strong stuff. Well, it's a good thing, right? Don't worry about that falling apart for sure. Don't worry about that. But yeah, little bit of a challenge to work with this stuff. Okay, so it's going across this way and underneath. So underneath right there, all the way to, where's it gonna go? Maybe bring his legs apart. It's gonna go like this, the diaper, and then back. It's gonna stop right there. So I gotta make sure I put rubber cement on all those areas. And I just grab my marker. Whoop. Trying to throw your marker across the room. There we go, do that, and then that, that. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay. Oops. Oopsie daisy. And bring the tail down flat as I'm working. And got that. Again, I could take the Dremel and I could Dremel down this diamond plate, but I'm just going to kind of go for it. But you should take your Dremel bit and just sand down some of this diamond plate texture. It's not going to help with it adhering, so might as well make it rougher but flatter, if that makes any sense. Like it doesn't need those lumps all over. Okay. Go from underneath to the crotch. See the light at the end of the tunnel? Yep. Little tail kickstand is great. Yeah, it's a big, yeah, this side, like just a couple inches and having it be this round, man, it's a lot more materials and that means it takes, takes longer to do. So just be aware if you have a big plushy thing with lots of details, it might take you all the way up till final to finish. So it's kind of nature of the beast, right? And he's ready to go. Ah. Uh-huh. Picking up the tools, if you see a couple. Actually get a teeth tip on both sides, get the toothpick straight away. And after conservation recycle, but too reasonable. With some touch stone pieces also dry. Should be good to go. It should be dry to the touch. All right, awesome. And put it there. Press firmly on the corners. There it goes, and go up and underneath. That worked out pretty good. You could just do one big gingerbread man piece on here, glue it, and trim it. Like the is it Brian, let's get the name, did in another video that I asked everybody to watch. But yeah, it's just kind of an in between. You got some anatomy, right? You got some flexible regions. You got different things at play here. Definitely got lots of movement. He's moving pretty good. He just needs some shoulders still. There we go. Yeah, be happy with that. Hey, his tail. Tail piece here. Let's put the lid back on our glue. And we'll continue with the tails and the legs.